And we have what might be the most anticipated comic book release of the 90s. Whilce Portacio's WETWORKS. Guys, Peter A. DeLuca here. Welcome back to Wildstorm Wednesday. This issue has been long brewing in my read pile to read and bring to you. And today's the day of days. That is exactly what we're doing today. But we have some observations. See, a lot of things are different when you read the comics. See, I know they're out there because I've seen them. There's a lot of YouTube commentators, a lot of YouTube discussioners, journalists, whatever the heck you want to call them, content creators. They've showed you what works. They've done a little flip through at the table. We're gonna hit the drawing table. But they haven't read it. And they haven't read enough of Wildstorm to know any of the context of this. Now, it's not perfect. It's not. But it's way better than what everybody wants you to believe. And the connective tissue of this book to the outer Wildstorm continuity is very clear and apparent. There's a major connection in this book that everyone has missed. Guys, I know I'm hyping this up. So let's hit the drawing table, have a look at the great and the of WETWORKS issue 1, 1994. Let's go. Good morning, my AKAPADers. Here we go. From our spiritual advisor, Stephen Hughes, and our two mascots, Pike and Crypt, may I present to you for Wildstorm Wednesday the highly anticipated WETWORKS number 1. Why was this anticipated, and why was this the beginning of the end of Image Comics right here, the Image Eye, that quickly? Well, Image developed this really, and it's true. They developed a bad reputation. They would solicit books in solicitation catalogs like Advanced Comics and Diamond Previews and just never ship. And the books eventually would dwindle away and cancel. Darker Image issues 2, 3, and 4 is a huge example of this. We only got issue 1. Deathmate Red by Team Rob Liefeld is subject to that. And so is WETWORKS. But WETWORKS has a good reason. WETWORKS was solicited. The characters were announced. We saw them on Wizard Magazine. We knew this was a part of the Jim Lee branch of Image Comics, which is Wildstorm. So you had WETWORKS by Whilce Portacio. You had Wildcats over here by Jim Lee. That's not Wildcat. That's one of their enemies. But you guys know. And Cyberforce by Mark Silvestri. WETWORKS' biggest contribution, believe it or not, isn't its publishing. It's the Todd McFarlane toys, which really captured the characters, I feel like. Because when we read this, we're reading someone who loved Predator and Aliens and just wanted to draw cool-looking soldiers. The action figures are like, hey, maybe these guys are best as action figures without the book. And that's a little bit where we are with WETWORKS. Because this is my major gripe with this comic. And we have to get into the back here. Issue 2 gets advertised. And what the hell is that, right? What is this? Well, technically, it's a monster of the week. American comic books need to have one new villain per issue. This was the formula that Marvel was built on. We want to follow the Marvel formula. There's no other formula to follow. The villains in this universe, this branch of the Wildstorm universe, are werewolves and vampires. It's so important, it really only comes up and gets revealed in the last couple panels and word balloons of issue 1. Because throughout this issue, they're like killing guys. And they're almost like, why are we, like, we're able to fight and kill these guys and no one's dying, no one's dying. And we get through the entire issue and we see, like, hints of the vampire stuff. And here's the wild thing. Within the Wildstorm universe, we have to go, and I feel like we talk about it every single week now. If I can find it, give me 1 second, my AKAPADers. Is this right here. Wildstorm Archives Genesis, the #1 collection of the Wildstorm Archives reprint collection. collection. AKAPADers, realistically speaking, we only had 2 different types of this. This is type 1, or, you know, and then the other publication, I don't know why I'm saying type, but there was a Gen 13 Archives edition also featured on this channel for Wildstorm Wednesday. When we read this, there's a certain framework. And it's mostly military science fiction. That's really what the Wildstorm universe is. It's mutants, experiments, high technology, and a lot of mystery, which is fine, because, like, again, that's how we tell comic book stories. And the 2 that really don't, well, I would say 3. The 3 that don't stick in that tapestry or framework is, believe it or not, they line them up here. We have Union. Union is a Green Lantern. He's essentially a space cop. He doesn't quite fit in the Wildstorm tapestry, we'll call it. WETWORKS, who relatively fight vampires, right here, right? They don't quite fit in the tapestry of the Wildstorm universe. And then we even have Wildcats, who fight secret aliens that have taken over human bodies. It's invasion of the body snatchers. Wildcats really doesn't fit in the Wildstorm universe. But if we look at the rest of the books and the characters that do, guys, I mean, look at this. This is a lot of good stuff here. This is more, all of this is more interconnected than, and believable than what I just showed you. See, what Jim Lee tries to do is make Wildstorm an everything universe, where you can bring in, yeah, Ripclaw from Cyberforce, and he rolls into Stormwatch, pull in any character, and we have a superhero universe. The problem is that Wildstorm is not a superhero universe. In this issue, we have to touch on this. So these guys are sent in for a mission. And they're sent in here. See, this is Craven, right? Craven, well, if we go to darker image, Craven and Lynch, that's your duo here. See, Craven and Lynch. And, you know, and the drawing is pretty consistent from, like, issue to issue, right? I mean, like, and there's a good gap between these 2. But it's on model. And we have Lynch here. So they send, and where do we know Lynch from? Well, we know Lynch from Gen 13. He becomes like the Nick Fury of the Wildstorm universe. He's also like the father of the Gen 13 kids, which we like. See, like we want him to be a little bit of that old head. So, you know, when we freak out and our boobies rage, you know, we have an old man there. But no, AKAPADers. Lynch separates himself eventually from Craven. But Lynch and Craven, so far what they're doing in the Wildstorm universe, they're sending people to their deaths. And most of the people that they're sending to their deaths, that they hope die, are these guys. Excuse me, oh my god. Team 7. Alright, Team 7 is the foundation of the Wildstorm universe. We have Deathblow here, we have Grifter here, but also a part of Team 7 is one of our boys. Dan over here, right here. And we have Dozer, right? Is that those? That's Dozer, or that's Dozer. Jeez. That's Gesture. That's Mother. See, or that's Pilgrim. That's Mother One. I don't know. Always confused when they needed these guys to be, like some need to be gold, silver, or platinum. They needed to do a better job with this because, like, you know how like the Ninja Turtles have different shades. Like that's what WETWORKS always needed to help me out. But Team 7 is the foundation of the Wildstorm universe, so much so that Wildstorm, in proper science fiction method, rolls it back. You get it. Look here, Grifter gets his mask for the first time. You know, after Team 7, we get a Team 6. After Team 6, we get a Lynch miniseries that depicts his early years and his early adventures, a little bit more like Indiana Jones. Lynch, Team 6, Team 7, Wildstorm universe. When we're introduced into this world, Lynch is sending everyone off to get killed. He sends Deathblow off, essentially, to die. They need Deathblow dead. So they send him off. Here's the wild thing. Deathblow doesn't die, because Jim Lee draws him. If Jim Lee draws you, you never die. And we begin with... This is our Predator scene. You can tell by the red lights. He sends WETWORKS to die. So there is a lot of connective tissue here when, here we go, when you're reading everything. The lateness. We have to address this. This is the only late book that's okay. Okay? I gotta say it. Any retailer out there, new or old, I don't care. If you lost money ordering WETWORKS, I'm sorry, but it's okay if you lost that money. Because we have this apology in here. I don't know why this isn't more highlighted or featured. This is Whilce Portacio talking about, and I don't want to address who it was, because I still think that is bad form. He had a death in the family that shook him to the core so much that it took him almost 2 years to recover. And during that time, Wildstorm Productions marched on. But WETWORKS did get done. And WETWORKS got solicited yet again. And WETWORKS is here. By this time, Wildstorm Productions has a full logo. By this time, Wildcats, the flagship title of Wildstorm, moved into Saturday morning animation to compete with the X-Men. We have Gen 13, the hottest comic book in the marketplace. Stormwatch, marching on. I mean, there's a lot of positive, and the Wildstorm books have rolled in traditional comic book advertising to take advantage of their insane circulation numbers, making it more of a real comic book company. Remember, ads are the business model for American comic books. You crank up the circulation, you sell the ads. That's lost in everything that we have today. So with all of that as a setup, I mean, we get some absolutely amazing artwork here. And Wildstorm leaned in on Whilce Portacio. See, it was the return of Whilce. What do I mean by that? Well, they gave him, and I don't have them all, but they gave him these awesome interconnecting covers. There's 8 of these. I only have 4 because I'm poor, AKAPADers. Wait, sorry, I have 5. All right, maybe I'll hit everything online or later, and I'll I'll get the rest. But people love these. This is what I view too to be one of the best interconnected covers in comic book history, because, and Joe Quesada did one around this time too for Extreme Studios, which is also spectacular, but it's not as good as this one. And the reason for that is that we can tell this is the Union issue, which I didn't even know until now that I had Union 0. So I do have Union 0. AKAPADers, I think I'm going to read this. Thank you. We know this is the Wildcats. We know this is the Team 7. See, because we know what books are of the interconnected covers. We know the individual titles. That Joe Quesada one, guys, feel free to look it up. I'll put it up on screen as I'm talking if I remember. That Joe Quesada one is just confusing as hell. I mean, some of it is just like a close-up of Prophet holding like a lightning rod, very similar to this. Jim Lee, and you gotta give credit to this, they made this huge investment that Whilce Portacio had returned. He disappeared for almost 2 years. And if you guys want to further that, well, I got proof here, guys. Backlash, issue 4, features WETWORKS. Recently profiled on this channel, Deathblow 11. Here we go. Deathblow 11, which essentially is the first Wildstorm Productions crossover. Because Team 7 reunites with some of their remaining members. So Team 7 becomes heavy in the finale of the first 12 issues of Deathblow, which we can argue is the best arc at Wildstorm at this time. So they make this investment. They pull in the WETWORKS characters. So the team gets deployed, and then we lose a lot with modern comic book coloring, which I really am turning against, guys. I'm becoming anti-computer coloring. Because when we compare here, and this is Mother 1. Mother 1 is in disguise. She already has this alloy, this metallized, intelligent, Mediclorin, whatever alloy. So she can go from regular skin to gold. And she's in disguise until the very few pages and panels of this story. But here she recounts, and here's the great thing. See, she recounts Team 7 dropping into the zone to do their mission. See, and she says they're great soldiers, and everyone, Colin O'Dane here, team is exceptional, well trained, better than the best. But this is a great flashback sequence, and see what he does with the paneling here, how he makes it all like techno and nicely detailed. Well, that's how we know it's a flashback. And how do we know it's a flashback? Old comic book standard. We round the corners of the panels. So you do round the corners. I think the colorist here completely destroyed this page. And this is what I mean. I'm getting the computer coloring. It's not AKAPADers. It's I don't know what to do. So it's like, what do you do? What do you do when you this is the level of the work you're producing? The best in the industry at the time. Maybe ever. Right? The best ever for artwork in American comics. And you give it to your coloring guy. The squad. The coloring squad. Because we know there's like 30 guys in the room that never sleep coloring these comics. And they give you this. And all of these perfectly laid out blacks and silhouettes. Just, I don't know. It's like, what do you do? How do you not like start putting your fist through computers? But here, it's almost like these guys are sent in to destroy a facility that they know nothing about. And Craven and his cronies at IO, IO's the evil, that's Cyberforce has cyber data. Wildstorm Production has IO. They're like, look, like certain sacrifices must be made. Moving on. So the team gets inside of this facility, and we just see blood's everywhere. Funky things are happening, and they're like, wow, this is nuts. So here, this is where it's like we have it's hard to track the guys because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then here it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Moving on. But yeah, I believe, gesture. So some of this is like, hey, like you read the news, you do this. These guys are like somewhat informed by at the time, the emerging 24-hour news cycle, CNN, right? So they comment on things that are happening geopolitically, but he's like, this substance in this tube here, it's like responding to me, it's talking to me, it's what the hell. And then here, see this white girl? We don't know. We just think she's just like this rogue girl that's in the the air ducts, because here they're like, we have movement because again we watch Aliens, but it's her. So like it's not clear at all. Moving on, but she shoots one of the holding tubes, and the thing shatters, and it covers, right? We get covered in gold. We can see he's frozen, but then this is a great sequence here where we actually gasp for air, where he's like, ah, and it's like, yes, he's not dead, he's not alive. At that point, like more of the revolutionaries like come in, and I guess like it's good to have a meanwhile, but the meanwhile is the front door of this place. So they're in like the lab room, but the meanwhile is in the front door. And then they're like, guys, go crazy. They start, WETWORKS starts hacking, and we get WETWORKS doing WETWORKS, which is blood work. Just retitle WETWORKS as blood work. But yeah, they hack these guys to death, and these are the vampires. And they're like, it took these guys everything we had to bring them down. WTF, what is happening? And then at the same time, they're like, we have to complete the mission, just blow everything up. So they have enemies that kind of don't die. That they right here, that did the trick. What did the trick? You cut off his head. So they're doing decapitations. They're getting reattacked. Now they get swarmed by yet to be revealed vampires. But we get some like really good like effects here. Like look at that, the panel or whatever, just like shattering. So like he takes a bomb, blows the door, they continue to kill. But guys, I look at this panel sequence. Look at the detail. This is fantastic. But this is what we want. Like, we buy this. We want these guys to do this. And that is well worth the $2 at the time. And then they're naked because they blew up twice now. Now everything's blown up, and then they're naked. And you kind of want to say this could have been the first page ever drawn of WETWORKS, and they just reverse engineered everything to where, like we have a birth of the team twice. Major issue I have with this issue here, guys. Okay. So here, I mean, I can't even white it out. So between this page and this page, the rest of the golden chemical in these tubes here, well, somehow right through the explosions, because we have multiple explosions, it gets on the rest of the team, and the rest of the team goes through this process right here, the freezing, and then learning to breathe, and then adapting to what they call, and they call it well, a symbiote. But now it doesn't matter. We have WETWORKS, and I love this. So we talked about how Craven here was on model. So these are the gunships. So IO sends in gunships because that's what they got to do. But AKAPADers, look at how close, like, we are keeping track of things, right? These are the Gen 13 gunships. And they look, right? Like, this is good stuff here. This is continuity stuff. Draw everything on model. But the gunships come, all hell breaks loose. We learn that Mother 1, the girl from here, that we don't know what her relationship is with anything yet. She's inside one of the gunships. She turns the gunships on one another. And then she reveals herself. Gives them a little bit of exposition, but not really. And then we get the vampires who give a little bit of exposition, but not really, to be continued. Everyone, this is WETWORKS number 1. One of the most highly anticipated comics of the time. Here's the major thing. So, in Wildstorm history, we have Team 7, right? WETWORKS, here's the awesome thing. Even though there's 6 of them, right? There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. WETWORKS is Team 7, 2.0. So when this Team 7 is disbanded, and they all join like the separate Wildstorm franchises, okay? Even Mother 1 here says here, Mother Log, monitor Team 7's progress. And they're also referred to Team 7 in the company I.O. meetings. WETWORKS, before they became the Gold Guys, were Team 7. Dan is the holdover from the original Team 7 to this. But they're not really Team 7 because, as we discussed earlier, they're actually Team 6 2.0. Right? 6.2.0. 7.2.0. And what the hell? But I love that, though. I love that if we read this and we know Team 7 was a thing, like we track down these. And then when we know Team 7 was a thing, we track down the Lynch book and we track down the Team 6 stuff. And, you know, like we go backwards as we go forwards. That's comic book storytelling. Given WETWORKS was late, given they have the vampire stuff never worked. It just never worked. As confusing as it is, I still enjoyed this read. Like our boy here, right, Brandon Chiao, I love his military fiction. I do. I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm crazy, but I would recommend this 100%. But now I'm so curious about more of this vampire stuff. When does the title get out of the vampire werewolf nonsense that we never really see in any of the other? Well, like, you know, it's not like the vampires and the werewolves ever come up in any of these. They don't.